Hi, I'm Daryl Ehrlich from Wilson Marine, and today we're going to talk about trailering your boat. The first thing, the most important thing, is to make sure you got the right size ball in your hitch. So on the front of your trailer, there's going to be a bunch of information. One item that's going to be there is the size of the ball. In this case, I'm reading 2-inch ball right here. So that's what I've got in the truck, so we're set, ready to go. Make sure you've got your pin and your clip installed securely on the truck side of your boat. That's the first thing. I'm going to lower it down and we'll hook up. Latch. Okay, get our wheel raised up. Alright, so when I hook up a trailer, I like to focus on what I'm doing. Once I get started up here, I finish hooking up. Don't get sidetracked by somebody else asking you a question or doing something else. Keep hooking up your trailer. You don't want to miss any steps. So we got this latched, and there'll be a safety pin that goes in. That keeps the coupler from coming up. This is a breakaway. This trailer has brakes. This gets hooked to the vehicle. If your vehicle became, or the trailer became separated from the vehicle, this cable would pull out and energize these brakes. That keeps the trailer from submerging underneath the vehicle. If that ever happened, theoretically it's a more controlled manner to pull over the side of the road. Safety chains, your trailer may be equipped with chains, it might be equipped with cables. If it's chains, make sure they're crossed between the trailer and your vehicle, like that. That way, again, if the trailer came off the vehicle, fell down, it would get cradled in these chains. At least that's the idea. So we're hooked up. Electrical, like I said, this trailer does have brakes. Your surge brakes. The way that works is when you slow your tow vehicle down, this part of the tongue is separate from the black part, and it'll actually slide, the silver part slides inside the black part. The trailer will try to catch up to the vehicle and compress a master cylinder that's in here. In effect, it's a piston that gets compressed. That will force hydraulic fluid back to the trailer brakes and energize the brakes on the trailer. When you hook up, you'll notice this is a 5-way connector. There's an extra blue wire in here, so you've got a ground, your lights, and this blue wire. The blue wire in this 5-way is powered by your reverse lights on the vehicle. So when you put it in reverse, it energizes a solenoid in these brakes and prevents the brakes from locking up. Because if you imagine trying to back up, it's going to do the same thing as if you're doing a braking maneuver. It's going to try to compress this. So a lot of times if you try to back up like a hill, you're not going to be able to do it. This will compress and lock up the brakes. When you plug in, that alleviates that problem. So most vehicles come equipped with a 7-way round connector and a flat 4. You will need, if you have trailer brakes, an adapter. This is a 5-way to 7-way adapter. It's plugged in there, into the vehicle, and so you're good to go. When I get to the lake, I'm old school and I pull my electrical before I back in the water. So now you're unplugged, you don't have that solenoid to help you anymore if your brakes potentially are going to lock up. So there is a backup though. There's a mechanical means to lock out the brakes, and that's this little, I'm going to call a key right here, this little D-shaped key. That, on this particular trailer, goes in right here. You can use a piece of tape to hold that in. Usually it'll fall out like that. So if you have a tape, I use a magnet that I carry with me, and you put that in there, that mechanically keeps the silver part of the tongue from sliding into the black, and that will lock out your brakes as well. So you can use that when you're unplugged. If you use it, don't forget, plug your safety back in, your lights back in. When we go around back, one of the first things we're going to do is check our lights. Now if your trailer doesn't happen to have its own pin, make sure you've got a pin of some sort to pin your coupler. Okay? I'm going to use this one since it comes equipped. Okay, make sure your strap is tight. You want to inspect that periodically, make sure it's not frayed or damaged, dry it out. Make sure that's tight, and make sure your safety chain on your boat is installed and secure. This trailer has a folding tongue. I'm going to insert a picture of what this looks like on the side here. But before you travel, make sure this pin's in place and that the clip that secures it is in like it should be. I'm also going to show a couple other styles of couplers right now, because this isn't the only style. Okay, this is another style of hitch. This one happens to be a 2-inch ball as well. We're not going to actually hook up. I'm just going to go through the basics. Again, you're going to lower it onto your tow vehicle. Once you're on, the way this works, it's got a little bit of a latch right here, but this top flips down and secures. To release, it's just sliding this little button to open up. So this one is latched. Don't forget, the way this safety pin works, once you're down, is inside like that. There's a little spring ball on the end of this rod to hold it in. Okay. This trailer is also equipped with brakes, and the same D-shaped key would go in here to prevent brakes from locking up if you're unplugged from your vehicle. Okay, and here we have another common configuration, third example of a coupler that you may find on a trailer. This one happens to also be a 2-inch ball. It's just a little bit different configuration. This trailer also has surge brakes, just like the other ones we've looked at. So once you are down on the ball on this coupler, the way this works is flip this latch like that, and then this one has a safety pin that goes in the side, in there, and that'll keep that lever from raising up. Again, you've got trailer brakes here. When you're disconnected electrically from your vehicle, you could have issues backing up and the trailer brakes locking on you. So there is a mechanical means on this coupler as well, and that is to use the same pin that locks down the coupler. You just put it in the second hole, and that will mechanically lock out the brakes. It keeps this center part from sliding inside the main part of the trailer. If you use that feature, don't forget, when you're done, take this pin back out and lock your coupler. And then we're going to walk around and talk about tires and hubs. So on your tires, wheels, and hubs, check your tire pressure periodically. It's going to be listed on the sidewall, 50 psi cold right here. So check your tire pressure often. Lug nuts, check those. We tighten them on your new trailer for you, so they're good to go when you leave our yard. However, you should recheck those every 25 miles for the first 75 miles. So check them again after 25 miles, check them again at 50 miles, and again 75 miles. Then you'll be good to go. Periodically after that, check them. If you actually want to use a torque wrench, the typical torque for a 1/2-inch lug nut is about 90 foot-pounds. Otherwise, just use a 4-way and just make sure they're snug. But check those. You'll also notice that this vehicle has greasable hubs. So this is a rubber plug in the middle here. This plug pops out. I'd recommend checking that periodically. Manufacturers typically talk about 1,000 miles or 3 months. Check those. You might want to check them more often than that. If it was my trailer, I would. You can pull this plug out, inspect the grease, make sure the grease doesn't look milky. If it looks milky, cloudy, that means you've got water in your hub. So check for that. Also make sure there's a sufficient amount of grease in there. You'll see a grease fitting in the middle when you pull this out. Periodically, you can reach in there with a grease gun and just give it a couple shots of grease, clean it up, and put this rubber plug back in. Okay, back around to the back of the boat. Tie downs. Make sure when you tow, you've got tie downs on the back of your boat. I'll just quickly show how these work. So we're going to hook one side to the trailer, one side to the boat. Pull this loose end here and flip this bail down. That, and then I like to hank up the extra material and cinch it into place. That way it's not flopping in the breeze. Okay? That's how we tie our vehicle down, one on each side. While you're back here, you're also going to check your lights. So make sure once you plug in that you've checked your lights. Make sure you got turn signals and brakes. If you just activate the 4 ways, that's an easy way to check both sides. Most important thing, don't forget your hull plug. There are several styles of hull plugs. Just a brass threaded plug is the most common. So that's what we're going to demonstrate here. Let's get it started by hand. And this doesn't have to be crazy tight, just snug is good. That's it. When you're done at the lake pulling your boat out of the water, it's recommended, not recommended, it's required to pull your drain plug. So when you're done at the end of the day, you're out of the water, pull it out. You're letting any water that's accumulated in the boat out. The idea is you don't want to transfer water and potentially invasive species from lake to lake. So that's a DNR requirement in Michigan. Pull the hull plug. The last thing, when you're towing, we recommend not to tow with the cover on. So pull the cover off. Even if it's like a fishing boat with a quote-unquote trailerable cover, we recommend pulling the cover. Don't trailer with it. If one of these snaps comes loose while you're towing, it's just going to flop in the breeze and damage Joe coat, potentially damage the cover. So we just recommend not towing with covers on. Take them off, stow them somewhere. The other thing is your bimini. If your bimini has 2 positions that can be lowered, like this one's got an adjustment where it can be lowered down, you'd want to lower that bimini down. That just makes it more stable while towing. The other thing is seat cushions. A lot of runabouts have seat cushions that aren't hinged. If you have any seat cushion that's questionable, that looks like it might fly out while towing, take it out. Stow it in a compartment or put it in your tow vehicle. Same thing for life jackets, anything light like that that's going to blow away. Stow it so you don't lose it cruising down the highway.